How's everybody today? Great. Got our podium back in the center because I couldn't figure out what to do with my notes without the podium in the center, so I'll just state the obvious. We decided to go back to that. And I feel more balanced, centered. I can lean. So welcome to Thanksgiving week. I just wanted to say to Michael that you can be home in time to also watch the Seahawks trounce the 49ers. I mean the Seahawks and the 49ers play, excuse me. So today we're going to talk about enough. Great word, enough. Has so many meanings, doesn't it? Over the last couple of weeks, I've had a couple of people say to me, it's like, you're talking about money. Enough money! Enough talk about money. We've had those things in our lives where enough, right? And what it really means is too much. I've had too much. You down just a little bit. Right? And then we have enough is, well, you should be happy with what you have. It's enough. How many of you have ever heard that in your lives? Right? Okay, which means really, not enough, but you should be happy anyways. The dictionary definition from Merriam-Webster of enough is occurring in such quantity, quality, or scope as to fully meet demands, needs, or expectations. And I love that phrase, fully meet. Enoughness is when we're in that state of having our needs fully met, not getting by, not too much, but fully met. Breathe that in. What's that like for you? Just notice what that would be like to experience that. So that's the enoughness that we're talking about today. Having it fully met. And the state of having it fully met is actually the natural condition of spirit. When we're in that state, we're right in that balance, where we're fully have plenty, not too much, not enough, but plenty. We're in that state of being in alignment with Spirit because that is the nature of Spirit. It fully meets all of our needs. It fully meets all of the circumstances and situations. Spirit doesn't lack, right? And it doesn't have too much. I mean, it has an abundance, it has an opulence, it has a way over what we can ever use, but it's not too much for Spirit. So we're in that place of what's enough, where do we feel that deep satisfaction? And so when we're centered in Spirit, when we're living in alignment with Spirit, we have that sense of enough. We start to live in that space, to live in that consciousness, and it becomes our normal. So if we've not done that, and if you're like me, you've spent a lot of time not doing that. Hopefully you're better than that, but I have spent a lot of time not doing that. How do I know when I'm living in enoughness? Let's take a metaphor. We have a metaphor of something that's coming up very much this week for a lot of us that is a nice challenge for enough, right? Called Thanksgiving dinner. Okay? Many of us have had dinners where we keep stuffing ourselves until we realize, and it kind of catches up with us, and we go, oh my God, I may not eat again for a week. And then the turkey tryptophan kicks in, and we go out, and all that stuff. The taste buds want to keep going because it all tastes so good. It's exciting. People around us are eating everything. They're encouraging us. Eat more, eat more. I made all this for you. Right? More. Okay? That's the sensations around us. And that's sort of like life does that to us, doesn't it? It keeps saying more. You need more. So we have this mental model around Thanksgiving. And we all have different mental models around Thanksgiving and what it means. And if we don't check in with our mental models every once in a while and find out, are they still current to me? So if my mental model is I have to go to Thanksgiving, I have to go get stuffed with this particular group of people called my family, or particular friends, and we don't check in and say, does that really serve me anymore? Does that really serve me today? We just keep doing it, and we keep doing it, and after a while we go with the first kind of enough. Yeah, enough, we're way too full. So are they healthy and satisfying? The other way to do something like Thanksgiving, and again this is a metaphor, but it's also a reality, is we take the time and we slow down, and we start to pay attention. We start to pay attention to what is our body, What does our heart, what does our soul, what does our deep spirit want? What is that fulfillment? What is that needs to be fully met in that? Is it really about the food, or is it about the company and the companionship? Is it really about having to do Thanksgiving a certain way, or whatever in our life a certain way? Or is it about what is it that really serves my soul? But what it takes for that is to slow down. If you're ever eating, you realize it takes a while for your food to come all the way through and hit the stomach, and you keep on eating until you realize, oh my God, I've overdone it. So you have to slow down and pay attention as the process is happening. Does that make sense? Are you with me? Okay. Another wonderful experience we have of enough that's coming up very soon, something called Christmas. And Christmas is a wonderful poke at all of our not enoughness stuff, right? Yes? Some people, okay. Those people out there, it pokes at their not enoughness, right? Do I have enough presents? Is my house festive enough? Do I have enough lights up? Have I done enough? Am I festive enough? Have I received enough? Do I wake up the day after Christmas going, oh, I didn't receive what I really wanted to receive from Christmas? And so again, are we in that place of a mental model that says that we have to go and buy, shop, give, party, decorate, rush around like crazy, see everybody we can that we never really wanted to see anyways, send out Christmas cards to people we don't really like? Or do we take the time again to go back and check in, what is it that I really want out of this time? What is my heart, what is my soul want to experience during this time? And make sure that we fully meet those needs to where we have a fulfilled Christmas. Because when we come from a place of enoughness, when we come from a place of being fulfilled, okay, we can fulfill others. We can be present with others and fully present with others because I'm not needing something from that person, or I'm not worrying if I'm giving enough to that person. I'm just being with that person as a being who is enough. See, this idea that we're not enough is one of the most insidious core beliefs that we have as people on earth. Most of us are operating from that at some level of our lives. And wonderful times like this time of year can oftentimes poke that for us and get us thinking about, how I'm not enough, not good enough. And so if we go and follow that, where it leaves us is we're either groaning with fullness, our bodies are in pain with too much to eat, our bank accounts are in debt, our finances are in debt, and we got to spend the next 3 months paying it off, or we've had to save for it for months to get here, or we're feeling not enough. We may do all this stuff, but our soul feels undernourished. It's like eating junk food. It may taste good on the way down, but it doesn't provide the nourishment the body wants. And if you continue to live like that, after a while your body is just craving healthy food. Okay? Yes? Okay. So our intellect can get caught up in the outer excitement. Ooh, look at that shiny new thing. You put me in one of the, like Home Depot or Lowe's right now with all the Christmas lights out, and I have to kind of rein myself back in. Because in my opinion, you can never have too many Christmas lights. Now, that doesn't mean I put them all out, but you can never have too many. You have stored ones for when the ones you have go out and you don't want to take the time to replace the bulb. You just bring out a whole new string, Makes sense to me. The intellect takes a look at these shiny new things and keeps on going and going and going with them. What I'm going to invite you to do is to start to switch to listening to the heart and the soul and saying, what is it that I want to experience in this situation? What do I want to experience in this circumstance? Is it really about how many lights I can put up or buy? Is it really about how many presents I can buy? How many parties I can get to? Or is there something else that really wants to happen in my soul during this period of time? And if so, what is that? And how do I get it fulfilled? And I'm willing to have it fulfilled. That willingness, when we open to Spirit and just simply say, I'm willing, infinite presence, to have this desire fulfilled, is what starts to open the door so that the infinite can flow in and truly fulfill it. Otherwise, we're hanging out in, I remember there was a James Bond movie a number of years ago called The World Is Not Enough. And in it, the James Bond character, I think it was Pierce Brosnan at that time, is in a situation, and for some reason that phrase is spoken, and they ask him about it, and he goes, you're kind of very sullenly, it's like old family saying, or old family, thing. The world is not enough. We've met people who they could have the whole world and it's not enough, right? Yes, this is yes. Yeah. Or if we haven't met them, we at least know of people. Sometimes right now we refer to them as the 1%. The world is not enough. And so for some of us, we get caught up in that. No matter what I do, it's not enough. No matter what I have, it's not enough. And the unfortunate thing is, the reason for that is because I feel that I am not enough. And so we go back and we start to remember, wait, I'm actually God in form, made in the image and likeness of God. Is God not enough? Well, no. And since there is only one life, and I'm one of that life, then I cannot be not enough. Most of us have that from a very early age. I notice that when my not enoughness goes off, it's usually very young. And it starts, going after it. Not enough. I do it almost before every single talk that I write. Is this talk good enough? Are they going to like it? Is it going to have the, communicate what people want? Is it too long? Is it too short? Is it, all that stuff? That's my little insecure kid that goes off, Did you ever have that go? Okay, yeah, good. Either we're both weird or we're not alone. Okay, no, but I know we're not. And so that goes off. And in a way, that not enoughness can be a good little check and balance. Am I doing enough? It motivates us a little bit, as long as it doesn't get out of control. But we have to make sure that it's the soul, it's the deeper part of us that runs us and says, wait, my child, I know you're enough. I know you're good enough. Just as you are. So take a breath. Just as you are, you're good enough. Just as you are, you're God enough. Just as you are. Michael, do we have a song about that? Let's cue that song up. I like sometimes, I know we don't do music at this service. Can I violate the okay, can we have music? I'm going to invite you, we're going to sing an affirmation. And it goes, God is enough for me, God is enough. Would you be with me on that? If your body feels like moving, yes.
God is enough. God is enough for me. God is enough for me. God is enough. God is enough for me. God is enough for me. You have got to stand, even if you don't feel it, even when you can't see it. You have got to stand. Sometimes you might stumble down the mountain of your dreams, but you must just get on up and stand. Say, God is enough. God is enough.
God is enough.
God is enough for me. In the morning, God is enough. In the evening, God is enough. Every day I say, God is enough for me. You have got to stand.
All right. I want you to feel that. That's your affirmation. It helps to sing it sometimes, don't you notice? Doesn't a tune get in your head? Isn't it nice to have that kind of a tune in your head? Rather than my wife left me, my pickup truck broke down, my dog ran off with my cat. God is enough for me. The Joyful Living Journal, out of which we're doing our talk series, states that enough is the state of being satisfied with what you have right now, not resigned or that you can't have what you want. But once you get it, it's actually enough. That's what we're working with. We're working with that state of fulfillment. So we explore what satisfies us. We explore what satisfies our heart and our soul. And whether we do this around the holiday season, whether we do this around money, whether we do this around relationships, whether we do this around career, whether we do this around our home, whether we do this around physical fitness, we find out what is right for me. What is it that my heart and my soul wants to experience as enough, in that sense of fulfillment? Fulfillment. So we start to play with that. We start to take the time. What does my soul truly want? What do I need to be fulfilled? How many of you have ever, at some point in your life, at least even for a moment, felt just fulfilled? You knew you were in a state of enough. Okay? That's your touchstone. You start to remember that. I think I saw all the hands up, but if somebody hasn't ever experienced that, imagine what it would be like. Okay? And that's your touchstone. That's what it feels like. Notice what you felt like, what your body felt like, your soul felt like, your whole being felt like, and that is what you want to start to live in as a regular state. And you pay attention to it. And as you pay attention to it, it starts to grow. Okay? What we put our attention on increases. Or I think I heard somebody say recently, where attention grows, energy flows. Okay? So wherever we put our attention on, so if I'm putting my attention on my enoughness, if I'm putting my attention on being grateful for my life exactly as it is. Recently on Facebook, I had a person who came up with the idea of taking a jar at the beginning of the year and putting in a note on every good thing that happened in their life. And then at the end of the year, going back and reading through the jar. And this person got on our Facebook page and says, what if I have nothing to put in the jar? And the person who posted it, who used to go to CSL Seattle, I know her, said, yeah, I've had years like that too. And I posted, it's like, if you don't have anything to put in the jar, you're not paying attention. Okay? No matter how bad our life is, we always have something to be grateful for. I remember times when I did not know where my rent was going to come from, or even, I was, not sure about the next meal, where the money for that was going to come from, and I would look up at the sky and enjoy the beautiful sunset. I was grateful for it. Okay? There's free stuff. God puts on a free show all the time. Whether it's the rain, whether it's the clouds, whether it's the sun, whatever it is, whether it's the beauty of the earth and the trees, there's that free show of beauty and art going on all the time. There's each other. There's the fact that we're looking down on the grass instead of looking up at the grass. Okay? Which is always a good thing, right? Okay? So there's always something to be grateful for. There's always something to experience our enoughness for. So return to that state of, when do I feel enough? And start to make that your normal. So your homework for this week. We're back to homework. Number one, just pay attention to your feelings. Pay attention to your feelings and your soul wisdom. Notice it. This week you'll have all sorts of distractions. This season you'll have all sorts of distractions. Buy this, come here, do this. Just pay attention. It's not bad, but pay attention. Does it fulfill you? The other day I was in Pier 1 Imports. I saw a particular it was fairly tall, tin Santa Claus that I wanted. And I looked at it and said, ooh, this is really cool. I had to bring it down and took a look at the price, and I could afford it, although part of it was an interesting conversation, because it's like I could easily afford, it was $135, okay? I could easily afford that, but a little part of me over here goes, you've never spent that much on a Christmas decoration before. You can't spend that much, and you might not, sure you have enough money now, but you might not have enough money in the future if you, right? Okay, that's the not enoughness I'm talking about, okay? That's where you take that little child and you put your arm around it and say, we're okay, honey. But I sat it down and took a look at it and let myself decide, does this really belong in my home? Does this really feel right? And I walked around the store for probably about 10 minutes, just letting it, kind of sit there. And then there was another lady in the store who started eyeing that Santa really, And she says, if you don't, I'm going to. It's home in my place. But you pay attention to your soul. What does it really want? And I realized that as soon as I saw it, my soul really wanted it. It's like my heart really wanted it. It's like, oh yeah, that's so cool. You know? And then you have to, and sometimes when we do that, if we're used to talking ourselves out of our enoughness, if we're used to talking ourselves out of what our heart and soul wants, then we say, oh no, I can't afford, I don't deserve. Okay? So you let that part of you also step aside. See, sometimes it's not that there's so much happening that we get pulled away. Sometimes there's what we really want and we turn away from it. How many of you, like me, have done that? Okay. You know, there's that person we really want to meet. There's that person we really wanted to ask out. There's that job we really wanted, and we don't do it because we don't feel good enough. So it's doing the balance of both. Pay attention. What does my heart, what does my soul want? And learn and stay with what truly fulfills you. Take the time. Does it truly fulfill you? And oftentimes it takes us a little while to listen and to discern that. That's where when you have a good spiritual practice going, like our reading talked about, you're more into that zone, you're more attuned to your soul, you're more attuned to listening to that spirit within you, and you can start to hear that more quickly and more clearly. Okay? So it's good to have a spiritual practice. So that's homework number one, is just pay attention to your feelings. Number two, notice your beliefs around enoughness. Just notice your beliefs this season around enoughness. Do I always settle for less? You know, there's the great martyr, you know, I've always got to give to you, I've always got to give to you. I'll just, you can have the last slice of pie. Sure, I haven't had any, and I really want it, but you can have the last slice of pie, it's okay. How many of us know martyrs like that, or, right? Okay. Moms are really good and grandmas are even better, I think, at it. Identify and get what you need. If you always are doing something that's less than or settling for less than, start to identify, start to pay attention, ask yourself, what is it I really want? What is it I really need? And do what you need to allow that to come into your life, to bring that into your life. To say fully, yes, this is what I want. This is what will fully satisfy me. And I'm not stopping until I have it in my life. I've had enough of playing second, third, or fourth fiddle. I want to be the lead fiddle. Yeah? We open up to that and do that. On the other hand, as long as we're looking at our beliefs, if I get so distracted by everything that I continually stuff myself and then find myself in debt, you know, with a massive collection. You know, we've all heard of you know, parents and friends whose houses are so stuffed with, you know, newspapers or magazines that they've kept forever, you know, and stuff like that, that it takes, you know, practically burning the house down to get rid of all this stuff. You know, and some of you have probably had parents or grandparents or known people who've had parents or grandparents that, you know, they go to do that because they can't stop. They're never enough. Okay. My dad was kind of like that sometimes. It's like he would always had jars and jars of nails and screws and all that. I might need it sometime. Might need it sometime. It might come in handy someday. So go for what truly fulfills you. Listen to that and go for what truly fulfills you. And third, listen to and follow your soul. You don't have to do what others do. Just because everybody around you is stuffing themselves at Thanksgiving or going into deep debt at Christmas doesn't mean you have to. That might not be what fulfills your soul. And the final thing this week, of course, is to practice gratitude. Gratitude is where we start to look at everything, and be grateful for it just as it is. And sometimes that's a challenge, isn't it? You know, we look at certain situations, it's like, how can I be grateful for that? And yet I can be grateful this is life expressing, even if it's messy, even if it's chaotic right now. You know, and scientists always tell us that, you know, whenever we experience chaos, it's just we don't understand the rules of how a situation is working. We have to gain more knowledge about it and move past it, move through what looks like the chaos to understand what the underlying order is. So there's always an underlying order. When we look at the world and how quote, messy and chaotic it seems today, there's an underlying order, and if we keep on going with consciousness, we'll get through it. We'll get through it. And we'll come out the other side and see something brilliant and beautiful on the other side of that. So we practice gratitude in everything we do. Melody Beattie, who wrote the book, well, she did a lot of stuff on codependence. Codependent no more. I'm not sure if this is from that book, but this is a quote from her. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion to clarity. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. So this week I invite you to pay attention to your soul, pay attention to your heart, pay attention to your enoughness. Bring it in balance. And using the practice of gratitude as one of the wonderful practices to do that. Are we good with that? Okay, let's pray. So I know that God is indeed enough. God is all there is. There is only that one infinite presence, pure, perfect, and whole. It is the fullness of love. It is the fullness of the good, the abundant good. It is the fullness of the life and the light, the creativity and the wisdom. It is all this and so much more. And we are one of it. And we are perfectly one of it right here and right now. There's not a single thing lacking in us right this moment, because we are completely, fully, totally one of this infinite love, this infinite good, this pure, perfect creativity, wisdom, and joy that God is. We are one of that. No matter what we have ever done, no matter what we are doing now, no matter what we ever may do, we will always be, are right now, and always will be one of that infinite presence, one of that. And so I speak my word that each of us opens to that awareness. We recognize and believe in our enoughness as we are, so we do not have to go searching outside of us for that enoughness. We do not have to deny ourselves that which really is necessary to fulfill our souls, but that we are in a perfect and healthy balance of knowing and experiencing and living from that awareness, living from that enoughness, living from that fullness, with our needs fully met, with all that is ours to be fully met. And so I know that as each of us opens the Spirit, as each of us says yes to that infinite presence, that we experience that which already is so about us ever more fully. And so in great gratitude for each person who is here today, in gratitude for each person who hears this message and takes this message and moves out and brightens this world even the tiniest bit, out of their enoughness, out of their gratitude, out of their godliness, I'm ever so grateful. I'm grateful for the Spirit that moves in, through, and as each and every one of us right here, right now. And so I release this word into a law that moves it into form and experience in our lives perfectly, beautifully, right here and right now. And so it does. And so we do. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you.
To love, serve.